This is Cultivate Your Signature. Key number 10, complete the assignment. So this is very important because when you set goals, and this is based upon just standard goal setting. You set the goal, you endure the goal, you complete the goal. So enduring has its advantages and disadvantages because a lot of times when you have to endure something, you may have to be in isolation, right? Depending on the type of life assignment, the type of gifts and talents that you have. But it's going to take some time. Completing the assignment is there's so much there in that one statement because completion is always going to be connected to instruction, and instruction might be connected to correction if you didn't pass something. Assignment always depends upon, it could be many levels, it can be your life assignment, the larger umbrella of your life assignment, what that is. Then of course completing the assignment is going to be based upon your understanding of how to apply your gifts, talents, and skill sets, right? And so completion, you have to envision completion in mind. Now, completion, it does depend because it's either you're going to pass the baton to the next person, you're going to complete whatever you're going to complete. Your completion aspect of it could be 5 to 10 years that you are solving this problem. You're using all your expertise, your gifts and talents to solve this problem. And it's going to take 10 years. And then you're going to pass the baton at retirement to the next person. So you're either going to be that type of person or you're going to be Queen Elizabeth who dies off the job. She never retired. She never retired. She saw the goal. She saw the life assignment all the way to the end of her death. So it depends on what it is that you're trying to solve. She had to be queen for the greater part of her life, I think for 70 years, and then when it was time to give it over, she died and had to get and then by default it was given over. So she never quit the job. She never retired. She knew what her life assignment was. So when you are thinking about completing the assignment, you have to understand what your capacity is. You have to understand what your capability is, your personality, your attitude. You can't be jealous of the assignment, meaning that a lot of times you may not have gotten the things that you needed to get when you were younger or even when you were older, but you may be the generational person who makes sure that the people coming after you get what it is that you wanted to get. Well, don't be stingy with it. Don't hoard it. Don't hoard knowledge. Don't hoard the assignment because you're now jealous that that other people get to benefit from what you really wanted years ago. Um, and that happens. It happens if you think about it on a very basic level. Say, for instance, you didn't get a car when you were in high school, right? You were the oldest, and you didn't get the car. But when you left to go to college, it freed up the money in the house in a way so that mom was able to get the card for the next child. So now you're jealous of that. You think about that. It bothers you, right? So then when you go out into the world and you want to make a difference, you see someone who looks just like you, and you see someone who looks just like the sibling who got what he or she wanted from mom. And so what you do is, instead of helping the person who actually looks just like you and who needs it more, you give it to the person who doesn't need it. You give it to the person because you are jealous that the one who needs it more. You project onto that person, well, I didn't have anybody helping me, and so I had to, help myself. I had to ride the bus and I had to do all these types of things, so you need to do it too. But then you give it to this person over here who could care less about any gift you give him or her. They don't care. The person doesn't care. It doesn't. They are very much indifferent to the gift, right? It's not a gift for them. In fact, it's really a burden for them because they didn't ask for it. And so when you are completing the assignment, you have to think about that too, because that's part of your signature, that you applying the gifts and talents appropriately, and understanding when there are shifts in life where you have to sort of appeal to a specific audience, so to make sure that they get what they need, right? And then completing the assignment is also going to be about um, understanding the time frame for each of the different parts and levels of the assignment. The assignment is like a big 250 puzzle uh, pieces, right? You your it's the bigger picture, right? But the part that you have to do per year or per day or per moment or whatever is a puzzle piece. It's a vision, but there's a puzzle piece. The first puzzle piece could be the discovery of who you are. The second puzzle piece can begin with you enrolling in courses, right? And beginning to develop in that particular talent. The next puzzle piece could be you assigning yourself, in a sense, to become a volunteer in the area that you feel passionate about. The next puzzle piece could be having a mentor, a person who mentors you uh, throughout your academic career, then throughout your workforce career. The next puzzle piece could be some instructions that you have to get as a result of moving forward. The next puzzle piece could be correction, something that you missed, some class you didn't pass, some understanding that you missed opportunity, anything like that, right? Other puzzle pieces could be just more training, more professional development, more understanding, more guidance, more honor, honoring the people who paved the way, respecting them, and so the puzzle pieces can go on for years, but it's also part of the your life assignment. You developing in your life assignment, right? So when you are thinking about cultivating your signature and completing the assignment, you're going to have to take in many, many factors of who you are, what you can do, where you're going to be, because talent and geography go hand in hand. You can be extremely talented but be in the wrong place, right? You can what you are matters just as much as where you are. Uh, if you look at Coach Prime, his name escapes me right now, but he was um, at Jackson State, right? And he was having a strong impact on those men, and he was coaching him, and he was giving them life lessons. He brought in people to help them see things and understand things about life. But then and he was very well received. But then he takes a coaching job for more money, and I think with Colorado, and he's getting criticized. He's getting criticized for the prayers that he has. He's getting criticized for his techniques. He's also criticizing the fact that the NFL, I think the NFL only took one person during the NFL draft from an HBCU. Now he's criticizing all the different things, which is interesting because he left an HBCU. And so you have to understand that where you are matters just as much as what you are. He was more effective in one environment than in another. You can be somewhere, your talent can be the most productive, effective, wonderful, insightful, directive, contributing thing ever. But if you place it in the wrong context, it may not work. It won't work if it's in the wrong context. And so that's going to affect you being able to complete the assignment. And therefore, that's why you have to understand the assignment. Because once you understand the assignment, if you look at Moses in the Bible, was supposed to lead the children of Israel. There were some setbacks, right? And they had to go around that mountain for many, many years, for I think 40 years, right? And along the way, he was receiving instruction from God, and then he applied that instruction. However, what prevented him from actually going into the promised land was the very last instruction. And God told him to speak to the rock, but Moses hit the rock. Now, there are a lot of biblical implications, interpretations. That is beyond the scope of this particular audio here. You can take some time to research that on your own. But ignoring that instruction, disobeying that instruction, um, prevented him actually from going into the promised land. So you wonder, did he actually complete the assignment? Because you have to look at the original goal that God wanted him to do was to lead the people. Did the leading require him to also enter the promised land, right? And that's something that you have to think about. So I have to suggest, I have to believe that he did not complete the assignment, because what happens is when he disobeyed, there was no longer room for correction. There was no more room for recovery or restoration, because they were already right at the gate, so to speak. And so to give him correction would be reminiscent of having all of the children of Israel to walk around that mountain again. There was no more time. And so they had to push forth. They had to go forward. So then they left. Moses went on ahead and passed the baton to Joshua, who then actually led the children into the promised land. So completing the assignment, it comes with instructions, it comes with guidelines, it comes with directions, and you have to adhere to it. You have to do it as instructed, as the assignment instructed. You cannot deviate and then call it success. You cannot deviate and then call it honor. Because if God is telling you to do one thing and you do something completely different, there may not be an opportunity for you to recover. You may not have that opportunity, because at least if you get correction, the gift of correction, you shouldn't need correction if you do it right the first time. But if God affords you the opportunity to correct, you should look at that as a gift. Because then if you look at it as a gift and you take it as a gift, then you can learn from it, and then you can get back on track to completing the assignment. So this is Cultivate Your Signature. Key number 10, complete the assignment.